Thank you for tuning in. This is DJ FobFresh from SegaShiro.com, your Sega resource, and this is a retro video review of Guardian Heroes on the Sega Saturn. Developed in 1996 by the folks at Treasure, this game has a lot of elements pulled from other genres. In fact, hardcore Treasure fans might be able to spot a few fan service items to folks who played Gunstar Heroes, and maybe even some of Treasure's fighting games. Guardian Heroes is an insane, zany kind of beat-em-up with RPG-light elements, as well as a branching storyline and light karma elements. However, due to the rather straightforward and simple translation in the Saturn version, a bit of the humor that Treasure is typically known for is kind of lost in translation. One of the other coolest aspects about Treasure's masterpiece is that you have a non-playable character that's actually useful. The Undead Knight, which you can select different modes of his attack, is a fantastic AI partner and will actually do some damage. All the action is spread out across 3 parallel lines or 3 different planes. This fact allows the game to be outright intense in combat situations because you're not just focused on hammering down a single button, you're trying to get combos and special moves and magic into the mix. In fact, the combat in Guardian Heroes feels a lot like a fighting game. However, all of the characters have huge hit detection areas, so even if you're fighting a group of people, you're usually hitting all of them at the same time, and this helps balance out the craziness of all the action. One of the most important elements of Guardian Heroes is the block button. That's because there are absolutely no health pickups in the game. There are support characters in terms of Nicole who can do healing spells, but throughout the action, if you're just playing single player with the AI, there's no health pickups. So what you have to do is actually block a lot. And so timing and parries are integral to the combat system, thus creating more of a fighting game feel. You have a variety of attributes to make your character your own, and this actually helps bring you into the game and make you really care about the characters. There are lots of reasons to do multiple playthroughs of Guardian Heroes. Outside of the 7 endings and the over 30 levels and the branching pathways to get to the end, the game gives you 5 different characters that are very, very different from each other. So playing the characters feels like a new experience each time. Randy feels nothing like Han, and Han feels nothing like Nicole. You can play 1 player or 2 player through the story mode, or do a player versus player battle mode for up to 6 players with the multi-tap. There are over 45 characters to choose from for the Battle Royale mode, except you have to go through the storyline aspect to unlock them before you can use them. The Battle Royale mode is pretty unbalanced, and yet I can't really fault the game for it because it's a nice add-on. But just for an example, you can battle the Golden Undead Warrior against Randy's pet Nando. The game also has some secret areas in terms of coliseums where you can level up your character endlessly as long as you stay alive. There's also tons of options which you can tinker with and play around with. On top of that, there is a secret dip switch mode, which allows you to max out your character's levels, open up hit detection boxes, as well as check out all of the endings. And just as a bit of a funny aside, the North American edition of Guardian Heroes is subject to some of the worst box art on the Sega Saturn. Frankly, they made the cover look like a Golden Axe reject, instead of the anime-inspired cover that graces the Japanese version. In terms of graphics, the Sega Saturn does an admirable job pumping out all these sprites and doing all the scaling and rotation effects. However, it is subject to a great deal of slowdown. The art design, however, is stellar and is very reminiscent of Gunstar Heroes. But at the same time, even back in 1996, this game was a little more pixelated than one would have liked. But none of that stops the game from being an absolute fantastic title. And once you get it going and once you get all the sprites on screen, it's quite a sight to behold. The game has a real choose-your-own-adventure feel in terms of the story. So there's times where the story just seems outright zany, but it's always fun and always adds a nice backdrop to the crazy action that's going on. The sound effects are nice and meaty and have some great pop, and I absolutely love the Undead Knight's scream. It just charges me up and gets me ready for combat every time. The music is really eclectic, yet really solid, combining jazz, saxophone tunes with heavy metal riffs and rock riffs. It's a great mix, and the soundtrack is just as classic as the gameplay is. What Treasure did with Guardian Heroes is very simple. They took a typical arcade title, the quarter-munching beat-em-up, and expanded it for the console universe. Hopefully one day Sega will see it fit to give this genre-defying masterpiece the sequel it deserves. This is DJ Fob Fresh signing out, saying keep on gaming.